Welcome back, dear viewers, and as you can see from your screens, Muharram has finished within Karbala, and now people are gearing towards the day of Arba'een, upon which the millions and millions of visitors of Imam Hussein salam will come in droves from all corners of the globe in order to pay their respects to Imam Hussein salam and to almost pledge their allegiance to Imam Hussein, telling them that on the day when he called out, "Is there anyone out there to help us?" we, in this day and age, will return the call and say, "Yes, Imam Hussein salam, we are here, and take my allegiance from me." So the scenes that you'll see over the next couple of episodes, it's more or less gearing towards Arba'een, upon which, as I mentioned, the millions and millions of people will walk towards the shrine of Imam Hussein salam. This part of the program is Verses of Love, upon which we are speaking about connecting to Imam Hussein salam through emotions, through tears, through lamentations, through recitations and poetry. And with me on my couch today, this morning, on Morning Baraka, we have once again Imran Datoo. Thank you very much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum. There's a lot that I'd love to discuss with you, especially since most of the time when I interact with reciters, it's mainly in the Iraqi background. So a lot of them, pretty much, I'm accustomed to their forms and styles of recitation. So I'd love to know, in this episode, we'll focus much more about the different forms and styles of recitation. And the amazing thing is, once you begin to really expand and find out about different communities, you find that there's different forms and different ways people connect with Imam Hussein salam. And even within recitation, I've noticed that people have different styles, different cultures of connecting to Imam Hussein salam. So from your perspective, growing up Urdu, right? So when it comes to the recitations, it's in Urdu. How did you find the transition between English and Urdu? How did you start? Did you start with Urdu and then adapt to the English? How did it work with you?
So for us, or personally myself, reciting since a very young age, it's always been in Urdu because of the Indo-Pakistani community we grew up with. So naturally we'd fall into that that vibe, if you will. So so since we were young, Urdu came first, always came first. With regards to the lectures we used to hear, the majalis, always in Urdu. And in a sense that was good for me. So then listening to the Urdu lectures, it kind of allowed me to understand the language, or at least forced me to understand the language, which resulted in me understanding what I recite. And I always think that's very important, to just a side point, that when you're reciting anything, and this is to all my dear brothers and sisters, whenever you recite something, it's easy to recite off the paper. It's very easy to look at the words, but to actually know what you're reciting and to feel what you're reciting, to feel it from the bottom of your heart, it has a bigger impact. So it's always important to know the meaning. I'll be honest, when the English facade or the phase came around, I wasn't very much for it, I'll be honest, because it's almost having that unfortunate closed mind that some people have nowadays, and I was guilty of that for a little bit. But then, when you look at the bigger picture, that the Azaa of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, the Azaa of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you shouldn't limit it to one language. There's no reason. There's millions of people who won't understand Urdu. So if Imam asks me, what did you do, for example, and if I just said I recited Urdu, but he said, what about the people where you were living in the West? You were in England. They understood English, but you didn't cater for them. So thinking along those lines, it was easy to make that transition to actually, let us give English a go. Alhamdulillah, it's actually, I really, really enjoy reciting in English now as well. It's got to a point.
What changed?
I think it was literally that mindset that, what if Imam asks, what will you reply to him? What will you reply? If you say, I stuck to Urdu because of my closed mind, that's that's embarrassing. It would be so embarrassing, and it's not. I don't feel I've done justice, especially if you've been blessed with something that you can recite, and you limit it. So I think that was the change for me. The mindset was just thinking about what would you tell Imam. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy to just jump into an English straight away, because obviously, as you know, when it comes, like you said, the different cultures have different types of recitation, different ways of even doing ma'tam, and it's all different. So to actually try to come towards the English, it came through slowly. But so initially I started off with almost very slow spoken words, but in tune.
Yeah.
And then we found this, there's a few of us that do this, they found this, I guess, a unique genre, if you will, that kind of brings the English with a Urdu vibe to it. So it's almost, and from what I've seen, there's a lot of response for that.
Okay.
So alhamdulillah, so I think what we're trying to build on that now. So
we'll hold on that. And
okay.
I wanna find out what that means exactly later on. So but I'll give you an example. Within the Iraqi, we have typically when the reciter goes up on the pulpit, it's a very set format. So he starts quite slow just to warm up the recitation, even warm up his own vocal cords. Absolutely. And then go into the main qasida. And that's the main that's the main poem, that's the main story, the message that he wants to give. And then quite towards the end, it'll go quite fast just to build up the atmosphere, build up the charge, and then they'll conclude there. How does it work with the Urdu?
Yes, I mean, with regards to the Iraqi style, I've been to centers that do this, and personally I love it. I love the way, like you said, it's all different, and you know, it's good to go and experience different cultures and the way we do it. In the Indo-Pakistani community, if you will, it's very much the reciter goes on and he dives right in. So there's no, I guess, a warm-up, if you will. Yeah. So it's just dive into the poem, the matam, the noha, and they have phases there where the chorus tends to be nice and slow. Yeah. And then come into the verse. There are different... So
there's a difference between us, because for us, the Iraqi way, the main part of the verse is, how would I say? No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, it's more or less the same. So the main part of the verse is where it gets
picks up a little bit.
Picks up just a bit, and then the chorus is where people take a breather and
absolutely, okay, yes, yeah.
It was the same.
It's similar. I think we have a different style of doing matam, but I think yours, the Iraqi style, is a longer process from what I've seen. So if I go on in the Urdu center to recite, like in a normal event, I'll get, I say, just keep it to 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. Where I've seen the Iraqi reciters can prolong it to 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
An hour and a half sometimes.
Absolutely, one reciter, right?
Yeah, one reciter.
Yeah, exactly. So for us, in that sense, it's quite different because it's quite fast-paced the whole way through.
Yeah, and besides, even the style of the actual matam itself is much more intense than the Iraqi style.
Yeah, even the tune, the composition, etc., etc.
So, I mean, how did you find... Okay, so you found that little niche in between, right?
Yes, yeah.
What was the challenge behind that? I mean, was it easy just to adapt it, or did you feel like you needed to adapt, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do the fast pace too much? Or how did you find it?
So there was definitely a stage of adaptation needed to go there, because the Urdu vocal set and the English vocal set are different, as you know as well. Yeah. So to kind of blend the two in, so you can pick like a tune, you know, that will have. The way I do it is like I look for an Urdu tune, but then within that you modify that to kind of hit some English notes in there. Okay. And to and sometimes yes, it will take that fast-paced, fast Urdu style pace away from that, but you're trying to cater for the English audience, and it works for them. And I think also one thing, if you're releasing it like in an album or a video, for example, to actually record it in such an atmosphere or an environment to deliver the English, that was difficult. So that took us a little while to kind of get used to see what kind of location we wanted. Because the Urdu, if you look, our nohas are just behind a black background, keeping it very simple, and that's it. Whereas I think for the English, you need to kind of, it's for the audience sake, and the reason is not for them in terms of, it's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, but it's for delivering that message so it impacts the audience when they watch it, which is the best way to do it.
Okay, so I'd love to get an example of that little adaptation that you had with the Urdu style. So you found a little niche, and then bringing it to life, how does it sound like?
So do you want to hear something? So alhamdulillah, this year I've had the opportunity to release my second Muharram album as well, and within that there is a poem written by the brother Nuri Sardar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prolong his life and allow him to continue writing as well as he does, mashallah. And it's lamenting Sayyidah Zahra salamullahi alayh. And within the poem there are elements of Karbala, etc. So I think this would be a good opportunity, inshallah.
Definitely.
O Fatima Zahra, O Fatima Zahra, O Fatima Zahra, O Fatima Zahra. In Medina a green dome weeps, grieving Prophet Muhammad. The door where revelation falls is fresh with familiar blood. The lovers of Ahlul Bayt know to whom this pure blood belongs. Eyes shrivel from the weight of tears and turns into grey black hair. O Fatima Zahra. There is a land where clouds rain blood, owned by the son of Haydar. It's as if mourning Fatima forever is Karbala. Hussein tells Abbas, bring your hands, it's time to mourn my mother. Brother, the crushing of my ribs were all in honor of hers. O Fatima Zahra, O Fatima Zahra, O Fatima Zahra.
Ahsant. And we can actually hear this in a studio format?
Yeah, so this is in the album that's been released this year. So it's available.
What's the track called?
It's O Fatima Zahra.
Oh, O Fatima
Zahra,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
So it's available on all your digital formats.
We very much look forward to, on Morning Baraka, very much look forward to hearing more of your voice and more of your expertise, especially in the field. And we'll definitely see you in many more episodes to come. On that note, we thank Imran Datoo for his time. On the next segment of Morning Baraka as well, I will forward it on to my dear co-hosts Zahra Kazmi and Masuma Jafar as they speak about the topic of age no bounds. Age no bound. Much more to come after the break.